Drew Hunter, he famously said, pressure is a privilege. And that's exactly what each kid gets right now. And they get to show out for us at this moment.
We are ready for the gun and ready to go. So the 2025 cross-country season comes down to this, the Brooks XC Championship. Girls race first here from Balboa Park, off and running. All right, let's talk about contenders. Let's talk about favorites. Joshua, I want to go to you first on this.
One of the favorites and golden ticket winners that we see in the lead at the moment, and right in the middle, in the blue, Natasza Dudek, last week winning NXN in an all-out effort. She's someone that we're definitely going to keep an eye on. Her sister, Zofia Dudek, won here in 2019 at Balboa Park, and she told me yesterday that her sister has been giving her tips, has been telling her just so much about how to get ready for today.
Carrie, another contender today?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had such a great race last week that we saw in Portland that I'm going to go with Blair Bartlett. I thought that when she crossed that finish line, she looked like she had a little bit left in her. Maybe it was just a little bit of a timing issue for her to get around Natasza Dudek, but there are so many athletes in this race that can surprise us on a day like today. And this is that moment in the race where they're down by the dog park. They're going to climb up a little bit, as you said earlier on, Joshua. There's some ups and downs here. This is where it feels like, it feels like we're running really hard, but we're going to get up and come up by the tennis courts and the pool. You're going to hear the crowd, and you're going to get into the rhythm, and that's, I think, where we're going to really see their strides start to open up and them get into the racing.
And I feel like someone that's going to benefit from that crowd is Jaelyn Williams.
Yes.
Being from San Diego, the past 3 weeks have been amazing for her. Third place last week at NXN. 2 weeks before that, breaking the CIF Division I state record on the course as well. She's going to be a factor knowing that she's run this course so many times.
Yeah, and her mom said she trains right here out in Chula Vista, which is about 30 minutes away, but she's been here. She knows it, and having experience on this course is huge.
All right, well, it looks a lot like NXN here at this start with Blair Bartlett there in the red, Natasza Dudek from the Midwest in the blue. And here in the early going, and we're going to get our first split coming up here in just a moment at the half mile.
But right with them, a girl who wasn't at NXN last week, Abigail Hennessy, our Northeast champion, is right there in fourth. She's the only other person entering this race undefeated next to Natasza Dudek, who won NXN last week. She's someone with a lot of confidence this year. Last year, she wasn't able to make this meet. A lot of injuries set her back. So being here is like her real motivation right now, so she's going to try and stand up in this moment and try and get a victory.
Well, and I kind of like an Abigail Hennessy. She has such range. She's a 209 gal in the 800 meters. She's run 445, but yet she can run on the grass in over 5,000 meters really well. So she's got strength, she's got speed, she's race savvy, but will she be able to handle having a lot of people around her for a lot of the race? That's what happens here. When you're in San Diego, you have all of the best, so it's different. You don't have silence like you do sometimes in your own state.
2:34.8. This is a quick pace from Blair Bartlett, Emma Hoffman, Abigail Hennessy, Natasza Dudek, Sophia Salassi. That was the top five officially at the half mile. To see them make one of these big turns here at Balboa Park. And 2:34.8 on pace for about 5:09 through the opening mile. This is a course record pace.
Woo!
And 5:10 will bring it home in 16:03. The course record is 16:39.8.
Yeah.
It stood since 1990 from Melody Fairchild.
Yeah, and I saw Melody Fairchild had a post here. She was so excited. She knows these athletes are just crushing it, and every single year she's watching. So hi, Melody, and wondering if that record will go down.
The one person we haven't talked about yet is Emma Hoffman in third place. She finished fifth last week at NXN, and she has great range across the track, 452, 1600 meter PR, but she's someone in Michigan that's in the shadow and a bit of Natasza Dudek of all the great things she did, breaking the state course record, but it just comes down, what can she do in this smaller field here today compared to last week? Can she hang on to Dudek and Bartlett and Williams and maybe even potentially win a national title this time?
Almost to the mile mark here in foggy San Diego. How do you guys think the weather will impact the times? Will it have a really big impact on the times today?
I don't think so. I mean, there's fog, but it's, it's perfect temperature out here, and it's not super muddy. I mean, there's some dew on the grass, but I think it's actually perfect running weather.
It's usually very sunny out here in San Diego, but like you said, the weather is perfect. I think maybe the only factor is that we had 50 athletes instead of 40 than usual, so a little longer wait time on the line compared to with the intros, but they seem to be running fast now.
I tell you what, though, those intros are my favorite part besides actually racing. Being able to run down and get your name and your accolades set, it's really cool.
You can see the times there at a mile. Natasza Dudek at 5:16. Blair Bartlett, Emma Hoffman, Jaelyn Williams representing the West up there. Midwest, Carrie, running very well as they've all thawed out now from running into snow a few weeks ago.
Well, Peter Henkes is the coordinator for the Midwest, and he likes athletes to get out. I can remember him saying that to us when we were standing in the start line. He wants us to get out. There is a team aspect here, too. You want to take home that trophy. But, yeah, not surprising to see those Midwest athletes. I'm telling you, Kenosha was a big surprise. The day before, it was dry, and it was perfect to go out and run the race or run the course. And the next day, 4 to 5 inches of snow we woke up to. So lots of grit and grind in the Midwest for the regionals.
Yeah, they're built tough for sure, and you have to be built tough to really take the lead in this race.
Yeah.
Bartlett and Dudek want to control this. They saw what they could do last week, and now here today, they want to repeat that. They want to capitalize, and Bartlett's taking the lead over Dudek, a really strong move going up the first time around the hill.
So Blair Bartlett was up front for a lot of NXN, battling there, very new to the sport. And Joshua, when you talk about just her experience and the savvy racer that Blair Bartlett is, the junior from Lawrenceville, New Jersey, what a season that she has had. And my goodness, 4:37, 9:55, loving running, and is just so new to the sport. You couldn't tell based on how confident she is in leading these races.
It's amazing that she was a tennis player this time last year. She didn't run cross country, but now she's all in, and it's paying off in a big way. And I have to think that that tennis competition, that competitiveness that comes from it when it's one-on-one, like a boxing match, like a wrestling match, just like running when it's one-on-one battling with Natasza Dudek, that's what's coming into play right here as she's battling in first place.
And the agility that you have to have on a tennis court, being able to navigate up and down these hills, and it actually is a little bit rough coming down, and I'm telling you, you can't even see how fast they are flying down that hill.
But there you go, Abigail Hennessy in third, the one other person that's undefeated, and she's right there with them. She has the confidence that some of these other girls may have lost from last week, losing to these two. And then there's Jaelyn Williams in third, battling with them too.
Yeah, they have to keep their eyes up though here. I mean, yes, we are still very far away from that finish line, but we need to make sure to keep our distance within check, and that's what these third and fourth place athletes are doing. They're closing that gap just a little bit, or keeping the pressure on so they don't get too far out.
All right, wrapping up this first loop, you see him coming right by the start line. Looking really strong here as they get down that hill, a little slight grade right here as they make their way around this loop. They will have now raced every step of what they're going to see today. They just got to do it one more time as they come through the halfway point.
I like how Jaelyn Williams looks right now. She does seem to be covering the surges up in front, the moves up in front. And as we said, she's been here. She was 9th here last year. So having a returner that knows how to race on this course, in this exact course, right? The 2 1.5 mile loops, that is a big thing. And so just kind of biding her time right now is Jaelyn Williams in third.
And it's different from last week too, because Jaelyn controlled a lot of that race, and now it seems she's on her own course. She's more comfortable, took it out a bit slower instead of going out in 5:16 like Dudek and Bartlett, and let them control a lot of it. And she's just kind of stalking them at this moment.
So 8:02.2 for Natasza Dudek and Blair Bartlett, just a second and a half back to Jaelyn Williams in third. There at 1.5 miles, Abigail Hennessy, Leah Starkey, Sophia Selassie, Maddie Gullickson, Lily Alder, Emma Hoffman, Virginia Kraus. That was your top 10 officially at 1.5 miles. Jaelyn Williams making a really big push right here, though, guys, because like you talked about, Carrie, having contact and being able to just stay in touch. She made a really big push up that slight grade as they came back around.
I like the contact that she made at that time because she did work hard to get to them, but she used the downhill to close that gap. Now she's working through that lower part and now coming back up to the crowd. It's really on the second hill where we see a lot can happen.
That third 800 around 245, 246 for the leaders. This is still a very quick pace. And again, that course record, 16:39.8. It has stood since 1990. And these three athletes that are starting to break away, again, in the red, Blair Bartlett from the Northeast. In the blue, the sophomore from Ann Arbor, Pioneer in Michigan, NXN champ Natasza Dudek. And then right there in third and in great position, the senior from Eastlake, California, who's going to run at Stanford at the next level, golden ticket honoree, Jaelyn Williams. This is a battle, guys.
This is Williams' last cross-country race, high school cross-country race of her career. There's a lot for her right now. Being in San Diego, she's also a Brooks NIL athlete. She's won San Diego section championships here 3 times. Like, this is almost a storybook ending for Jaelyn Williams if she can get a national title. But you have a sophomore and a junior that are trying to take that away from her.
Ooh, I know, and she knows what happened last weekend, and you know that she ran a little bit of a different race last weekend. So just kind of biding her time, maybe seeing what happens up front. And it looked like Natasza Dudek was trying to put a little bit of a move on, but now settling back in and maybe just getting ready. And I tell you what, you guys, you know the big hill's coming, so you almost try to conserve just a little bit in this section right now that they're at, because it is a mountain over there. It doesn't look as big on TV, but it's huge.
254 on that last 800, coming through in 10:56. Natasza Dudek, Blair Bartlett, Jaelyn Williams, still the top 3 there.
Big gap, though, to the second gap here. We have our top 3 up front and a big gap back.
And 9 seconds to Abigail Hennessy, who leads the chase pack there in 11:05. A group of 5 runners chasing these 3. Abigail Hennessy, Zofia Dudek, Maddie Gullickson, Leah Starkey, and Lily Alder.
It's really great to see those regional champions kind of leading that chase packet. Hennessy and Selassie, they're going to be right there in that mix, and we could very well see them finish up 4th and 5th. They could have been ones that earned golden tickets, but they fought through the mud and the snow to get here today.
All right, it's crunch time. Here inside the final mile and closing in on the final K. Good team battle as well. Midwest and Northeast battling here, and a couple of points separating those 2 squads. This is still anybody's race of these top 3 runners, as you see the hill that they are dealing with, making these tight turns, trying to keep their footing as well. And of course, it's a little slippery with the morning fog in the air.
And I think we're seeing the little undulations of this course where the hills will just sneak up really on you, but we're getting to the most crucial hill at this moment. The second time you go around this loop, whether it was Bob Kennedy earlier today and all those former champions that went on to go to Olympians that said the move is made on the second hill. Who will do it in the next 20 seconds?
Here we go. Jaelyn Williams making a push up to the front, wanting to lead here inside the final half mile. They're going to come up on it right here and make their way down for one final sprint. Our last split until the finish. Natasza Dudek, Jaelyn Williams, Blair Bartlett, 13:38 that time as they make their way through the dirt for one final time.
Well, you know Natasza Dudek, she's got plenty of time, but she wants another championship in her household. Her sister got it in 2019 and has been giving her advice and pumping her up. You know that she's going to drive deep and go deep here, drive hard, and she is.
And Blair is really pushing. You can see her head coming down. It's coming back up. She's trying to stay with Dudek, but she is starting to run away, and the move has been made.
A clear push right at that hill, the part of this course that defines the championship race year after year. And Natasza Dudek with the toughness and the grit to grind up that hill and make a big push to try to win another national championship.
Well, this is that point. Up along the road, there's a road right next to it, and it's a straightaway, but with a little curve. And they have to kind of compose themselves because they're going to go flying down this hill now. And then, like I said, only 500 meters to go when you get down to the bottom of the hill. And here she comes, working her way down. Let it rip.
And those last 500 meters, anything can happen. This race is not over. Blair Bartlett is closing the gap right now, and it looks like they could be side by side in the next few moments.
Natasza Dudek in the blue and Blair Bartlett in the red. Ann Arbor against Lawrenceville. Michigan against New Jersey. A rematch of first and second at NXN playing out in front of our eyes in foggy San Diego today. This is a grandstand finish between Dudek and Bartlett. Who's got enough left in the tank as they make the sprint home?
And I think this is the very reason why we have the Brooks Cross Country Championships. We want to run it back. We want to see who truly is the best. Let's take out everyone else. Let's throw the two lions in the den and see who's the very best at the end of the day.
Here comes Bartlett side by side with Natasza Dudek. All of the summer miles, all the workouts through June, July, and August, the championship races in their states, the region championships culminating here at Balboa Park as Natasza Dudek has got just a couple of steps, but Blair Bartlett has answered every move that the NXN champion has thrown at her. Making the final turn and making their way up this last hill. It's Natasza Dudek with the lead, making their way through the 3-mile mark by the start line. Dudek leaning in, Bartlett trying to stay in touch. But the sophomore from Ann Arbor Pioneer, Natasza Dudek, takes the tape in San Diego, the sophomore, your national champion in 2025. 16:55.5, Dudek, followed by Blair Bartlett in 16:57 as our top finishers follow in behind him. Dudek wins again.
Wow, the way that Natasza Dudek just ran that race, you would not know she is a sophomore in high school. She's had such a phenomenal year, undefeated all year, and she just has so much composure when she races. But I gotta give it up to Blair Bartlett as well. She's had a phenomenal year herself, and to be second last weekend and second today, she has to be very pleased with the pressure that she can apply, and you know, it's just a matter of time before she's the one to break that tape.
And she fought so well today. Blair Bartlett was in it from the very beginning and held on to the very, very end, but it was Natasza Dudek's day. As you could say, it's in her blood. Zofia Dudek did it in 2019, and now Natasza just so composed, like you said, Carrie.
Yeah.
Like, through the line, that's when she fell out. That's when she knew it was over. But through the entire race, you could even tell that she was tired.
No, I mean, I love how she handles when she is challenged. When Blair Bartlett came up on her shoulder today, you could almost see a dip in her chin, and she drove deep to get to that finish line. And she really is such a class act. I mean, just such a young talent, but going to be fun to watch her for many years.
Well, these finishers continue to come in, and these racers who are competitors today, they also kind of feel like teammates this week, don't they? As they get to stay together, get to play mini golf. They're out here doing the different events. They've got the swag from Brooks, and in a lot of ways.
TikTok.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a lot of TikToks. We've seen a lot of spoons and hairbrushes become microphones. But it's the beauty of this meet, right? The competitors that really do feel like they are a part of the Brooks XC family.
Well, for sure. I mean, we heard from Adam Goucher, we heard from Jorge Torres and Julia Stamps and Kara Goucher and all of us old runners. But we've talked about what it is. It's not just a race. You become really good friends, lifelong friends. Even though you want to beat each other like crazy, there's something special about it.
and really the competitiveness from that we really got to see today. The Midwest won today in our team championship for the girls, and these are a lot of people that Natasza Dudek really raced, with Emma Hoffman seeing her all year in her state, and then Zofia Dudek as a regional champion. Like, she performed